Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If today is your first time visiting my channel, thank you so much. To my returning subscribers, you guys are amazing. So in today's video, I have this sister who took to her account on TikTok to tell us about her experience, how she used to be whitewashed, but she no longer does that. So let me not waste your time. Let's watch this video together.
There is nothing worse than a whitewashed black girl realizing all the racism in the world who's also in a friend group with barely any other black women. There is this like no worse feeling, because when it hits you hard. And every weird little interaction that you just justified as being rude, turning out to be, makes you question your whole existence.
Well, the question comes in, what is whitewashing? So guys, let's hear what this woman has to say about whitewashing.
It means to alter, to be ashamed of the skin that you were born with, and to try to be something that you're not. That's what whitewashing means. It's to eradicate or to erase is what it is. So yeah, that's what it is. She is ashamed of her black heritage. That is whitewashing, is where you try to make yourself be something that you're not in order to fit in with other people. That's what that is. Yeah. I know, because the same thing happened to me until I learned about my African heritage and embraced that. I was whitewashed. I was adopted by white evangelicals who also sent me to a boarding school that made me pick. My adopted mother used to tell me all the time she was going to trade me for a white child.
One of my mutuals recently made a video about being called whitewashed as a black girl and kind of like her lived experience through that. I love that video. I'm going to tag her below. Go watch it. And watching her video made me want to share these 3 foolproof ways to always be unbothered by comments like this. Yarn's just flying. Okay, number 1, I always like to think about this. Whenever somebody calls me or someone else whitewashed because of the way that we speak, I always just imagine asking them to reenact. Give me an example of how I'm supposed to sound. Just thinking about how absolutely ridiculous they would look. Just think about how silly that would sound. It's just embarrassing. Now they're embarrassed. It would also just probably be a bunch of stereotypes sprinkled in with like a bit of ignorance. Number 2, I apologize, I'm gonna sound like a motivational speaker for a second. You are literally one of one. There's not like a correct version of you walking around the earth that these people are able to compare you to. As long as you're authentically showing up as yourself, you're already doing it right. She's firm. Unless there's like a Freaky Friday situation happening, these people will never know what it's like to be you. Yeah, okay. Step number 3, you have to remember that these are not serious people. These are not secure people. These are people that actively seek different ways to dim someone else's light, dilute someone down. They try and go for the jugular, your identity, your character. Once you realize that these people are just insecure people, and you start screening those comments as like their insecurities, their baggage, their problem, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. It's really hard to take comments like that personally. Save this video, run that back. Oh, okay. Save this video, run this back a few times if you have to. Anyway, yeah.
Yes, I defended her because I know what it's like to be a whitewashed black girl. I was lost once too. And I'm not afraid to admit it because I've moved past it and I no longer have those beliefs. And I only had those beliefs because of my racist ass mom and stepfather, who are both white passing. You'd be surprised to see how many like strong, powerful black women, like women that are like 24 plus, grew up as whitewashed black girls like Izzy. Well, now we know she's not black, so that's why I took it back and I don't defend her. Here's me in the depths of being whitewashed. A classic group photo. This is my favorite picture for the longest. And yeah, I was even emo.
Let's talk about being called whitewashed. My entire life I've been told you talk like a white girl, you act like a white girl, you dress like a white girl. I am very obviously mixed. And to be honest, I think it's extremely disrespectful because I've been self-conscious a bunch of times around certain people. Literally all I do is overthink about the fact that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe that sounded weird, or maybe they think I'm trying to act like someone I'm not. I don't even know how many times I've been told, but you're considered white. I just find it weird because I think women of color should be supporting each other instead of tearing each other down because we know what it's like. Oh, and don't even get me started on dating a white man. Like, the comments I've gotten in the past are absolutely horrible. At this point, I've gotten used to it, so the comments don't affect me the way they did like back in high school and everything, but I still think people should realize that it is disrespectful to say that to someone. And I also think people need to realize that I cannot act a certain color. I can only act based on how I was raised, my friends, my surroundings, and that's why I am the way I am today. And there shouldn't be anything bad about the way I act. I'm not more black, I'm not more white, I'm just who I am, and I shouldn't be ashamed of that. End of the story.
Nothing pisses me off more than when people label black girls or just women of color in general as whitewashed.
I feel you, sis, but we do need to make a distinction between like whitewashed and the overuse of the term whitewashed. We do have people of color that are living in predominantly white spaces that feel the need to simulate white culture over their own culture and value it over their own culture. And so it's not whitewashed to have a white boyfriend. It is whitewashed to brag about the fact that you've only dated white men and like white men is your preference. The term whitewashed is overused because people of color tend to use it to describe people who are being articulate, high achievers, and just having any connection to the dominant culture in general. I'm American and I'm gonna like my American shit. Being whitewashed is adopting and accepting narratives that explicitly go against you and your own culture, which is not what you're doing. But I just needed to explain that for the folks in the back.
Well, we have heard what these women had to share on the issue. So now, whitewashed sometimes can be a compliment or an insult. But in this case, it's a different story. When people feel you are whitewashed, they feel you don't want to be among them, or you are doing something different from them. Well, sometimes these people, it's not their fault. Others, it's because of circumstances beyond their control. Others, it's because they were born and raised in white communities. So they did have much of the black people. Probably, these people needed to have friends. So by being with them for a long time, it made her adopt their mannerism and way of life. But with time and age, you are going to realize that you are not the same, and the struggles you face in life are different. Just like a certain girl commented that when she was younger, she felt like that. She was a huge name who loved Amine, and she felt like no one in her town did. It was a white people thing. So she felt disconnected from her blackness. She just became a super pro-black a few years ago when she began learning true history, because they expected her to laugh at their racist jokes and act as everything is okay. This is a weird mentality. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my videos so that others can see. See you tomorrow.